I am Michael Gazin, and I am playing the role of Andrew in the film Disillusioned. So when I first got the script, you start reading it, and quickly you find out that basically what's happening is a bunch of us kids are going out into the forest, where it might not turn out exactly like you have planned. And so it's like, I've seen this before, but as I kept reading, it's like I know, it seemed it was coming from a different place. It was coming from all the other movies of kids going out in the woods and bad stuff happens. It's like this was coming from a completely different place that I found out with. It's not near as defined of like the good and the evil and what exactly is happening. And so I was intrigued working through it, because it's kind of like I quickly found out that I couldn't make any assumptions about what I was doing or where anyone else was going in the script, because at any moment it could turn and I wouldn't know how it was going to turn. So I kind of had to pull back my assumptions and go along for the ride. The whole cast is fantastic. I know some of the people I'm working with previously, and then there's a couple cast members that are new and just wonderful people. I found out from the table read, like right from the get-go. So it's just been so fun, because they're people I've known but I haven't had the chance to work with. And so this is like a new opportunity to explore this imaginative world with great friends and great new people. The crew is like a very energetic, young, enthused group of guys that makes me, as an actor, kind of investing myself in the story, makes me feel confident, comfortable, because behind the camera is a group of guys that just have a palpable passion. And so I know I can kind of relax, because there's muscle and strength and vision behind the story that I think is contagious. For me personally, this part that I get to play in the film is intriguing for me to explore, because on the surface it's like I kind of play the kind of like the foundation of the group. I'm the guy who gets people out there and kind of instigates everything, and then I also kind of assume the role of the protector. But underneath the surface, it's like what I'm protecting against is, and like it's this undercurrent throughout the film, through all the twists and turns of like finding out exactly what are we battling, and how do you go about that, because people, you think you know who they are, and then you might find out they're not exactly what you expected, and how do you deal with that? Or maybe you have this conviction that even though somebody's acting a certain way or revealing themselves in a certain way, that you know deep down it might not be possible, or that there's a goodness to them. So I find that kind of fascinating, dealing with aspects of somebody that you know or that you think you know, and everything's turned on its head, and how do you deal with that without burning bridges, if that's even a concern. It's interesting territory to explore. Working with a director whom I know who's from the same kind of school of thought, and who I know as an actor, is really comforting, because in this industry it's like as many actors as are out there is there's just as many techniques and approaches, and everybody works different ways and needs different things. And so joining and working with somebody, especially a director who understands exactly how you work, is so comforting, because that can be kind of half the battle on when you're with unfamiliar people, is trying to express or explain like how you work, how you what you need from a director, how you see things, everything from the physical aspects of it to the vocabulary used. It's like everybody sees differently, and so having a director that understands how you work as an actor, because they themselves have stood in the same shoes, is takes off a lot of pressure. So I can just do the work without having to worry about explaining how the work is done. I mean, when it comes down to it, this is a project I'm so excited to work on from so many different angles, because everything, just being able to work with people who I know are phenomenal people, who put their heart out there in whatever they're doing, and you know that it's coming from a place of truth. I mean, as a viewer, that's what I look for in watching a film, is that the people believe what they're saying and what they're doing, and it lets you rest as a viewer and kind of accept the story. So I'm so excited to work with a group of people who are serious about the project and about playing out this story. I think that the story is intriguing because, as it's been said so many times, it takes a genre that you think you're familiar with and twists it in a way that I have never seen, and I don't think anybody that's heard the story or the plot line has ever seen before. So it allows you, as a viewer, you love to kind of guess where this is going, make assumptions, and hope you're right. And in this case, chances are you're probably not right. So it'll keep you guessing, which I think is great for anybody watching the film. This film, we couldn't start work soon enough. I'm ready to go, and I think you guys should be too.